Well, the last episode had a lot for me to talk about, and this one does too, but last time I talked about roughly 2/3 of the episode. Here I just want to talk about a couple of scenes. Okay, enough about me. The first scene I want to talk about happens over halfway through the episode. Joel confronts his father, Moish. That's his name.
Well, you try to make someone do the right thing, it doesn't always work out.
Moish!
Anyway, Moish has transferred Joel's secretary, Penny, the person Joel left his wife for.
I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe I'm losing him to Penny Pan.
Penny Pan, I thought, well, that's a stupid name, but I took a shot and I was right.
And Joel is angry. But what this shows is Moish is controlling every aspect of his son's life. In fact, he basically says just that.
It's my job.
I love being right.
My job, my office.
I know, I got you that job in that office. So I call my brother, I say give him a job. A good job. Give him an office. And a secretary named Penny Pan. I did that for you. And I did this for you also.
Stay out of my life!
Joel is in his father's pocket. And once you're in a narcissist's pocket, they will do everything in their power to keep you there. This is because narcissists are amazingly controlling. In actuality, they want to control everything. And once they think they have control over another person, that's when they start doing, well, whatever they want to that person. If that person tries to speak up for themselves, that's when the narcissist will double down on whatever abuse they like most. Insults, devaluation, some can be physically abusive even. Here, what Moish is doing to his son is a twisted form of financial abuse. He controls every aspect of his son's life, and Moish can take away any of the amenities that he chooses. Something he does later to swing his big dick around, forcing Midge and his grandkids out on the street, essentially.
The apartment is in my name. I can do what I want with it.
Why would you do this?
So you want me out of your life? Okay, I'm out of your life. I'm taking the apartment with me.
You're a real son of a bitch.
But that's really how little narcissists care about anyone but themselves. Not at all. And all narcissists are bullies. Every single one. They love kicking people while they're down. Before moving on, let's talk briefly about narcissistic parents, a subject I'm sure we'll return to many times. Like I said a moment ago, people with NPD crave control. And one thing narcissists have automatic control over is their children. This is because kids can't take care of themselves and need their parents to survive. Something I probably didn't need to explain.
We've raised you since you were a baby, given you the food off our table, even let you have Dudley's second bedroom, purely out of the goodness of our hearts.
In a normal, healthy parental relationship, your mom and dad are meant to help teach you to individuate, among other things. However, narcissists will only ever see other people as extensions of themselves, and anything they see as different, they also see as a flaw, and they will try to squash that out of you by any means necessary. They want to mold you into another them, because that's really all they understand. This is exactly what Moish is doing to his son, Joel. He's just molding him into another him. And when he does something Moish doesn't understand, it leads to increasingly harsher punishments.
You guys are broke. You're living hand to mouth. Joel buys you flowers. They're from me. You own nothing. Your apartment is mine. His job is his uncle's, so mine. He's provided nothing. He's saved nothing.
Okay, Zeus just called me on the phone and told me to tell you about the golden child and the scapegoat. Talked about scapegoating a little in the previous video, but this isn't quite the same thing. The golden child is one of their own kids that reflects the best on the narcissist. They might be the one child who is the most like the narcissist themselves, but not always. Whatever it is about the kid, the golden child will be put on a pedestal. They will get all the praise no matter how good a job they do or what it is they're doing. They will be given the best gifts at birthdays or Christmas. The narcissistic person will probably spend a great deal of time bragging to others about their golden child, about how smart they are, about how naturally talented they are, or even make up lies or exaggerations about this child's accomplishments. But of course, the narcissist will always take all the credit for raising such a perfect child. Then there's the scapegoat. If the narcissist only has two children, one will be a golden child and the other will be the scapegoated child. This is because of something called splitting, where the narcissist can only put things into two categories of perfect and worthless. But also because the narcissist has to scapegoat the evil parts of themselves onto somebody. And that somebody is their scapegoated child. Now, much like the golden child is perfect, everything about the scapegoat is a flaw. Nothing this kid does will ever be good enough for the narcissist, and this kid will also be blamed for everything bad that happens within the family unit. And, much like the narcissistic individual spreads lies about their good child for the good things they didn't do, they'll also spread lies about their scapegoat about all the bad things they didn't do. This is called the narcissistic smear campaign, and the ironic thing is the things they're telling other people their scapegoat is doing are probably the very things that the narcissist is doing to their friends and family behind their backs. This is because the narcissist can't really see things from outside their own very limited perspective, and they aren't exactly the most clever people in the world either. One more thing about the golden child and the scapegoat, and that's that more often than not, they're just normal kids. Neither is more good or bad than the other. Also, a golden child can quickly become a scapegoat if they start to slip. Also, they both have a greater chance of becoming narcissists themselves because narcissistic abuse during early to middle childhood tends to breed more people with NPD. Also, empaths, but we'll talk about that in a later video, probably. Anyway, back to the show. Both families get together to have dinner, even though the kids separated, and I get the impression that Joel and Midge didn't want this, but this seems to be two sets of narcissistic parents attempting to control their children. When we first enter the scene, Moishe's talking nonstop about some war story he has.
I jump up, I rip the top off, bare hands, right off. 2 chickens jump out.
And then wanders into the dining room with Midge to talk nonstop about multiple things, drifting from one topic to the next, as if he didn't stop talking, his head might explode.
Shirley and I are here for you. You know, when my sister's husband died young, she started volunteering at the old ladies' nursing home, reading stories, teaching cha-cha classes, things like that. And at night, jigsaw puzzles, portraits, basket of puppies was a big one.
This is something known as narcissistic word salad. Basically, their goal is simply to dominate the conversation and keep the attention purely on them. They do this just by talking. They talk nonstop in ways that make you feel like maybe you're actually listening to someone talk about stuff, but really it's all just a bunch of nonsense that's exceptionally hard to follow. Oftentimes filled with information that the narcissist might know fluently, but no one else really understands. Narcissists don't really like listening to other people talk, unless it's just to compliment them. For the most part, they will do everything in their power to dominate conversations. They don't really understand why anyone else would need to talk anyway. They're that in love with the sound of their own voice and absolutely hate the sound of yours. Word salad is also to gain something known as narcissistic supply, which I don't think I've talked about yet, but supply is what narcissistic people live for. It's like the greatest drug known to man to them. It's essentially their oxygen, and what it is attention from other people. Also their emotional reactions, and though good emotions like joy are better for gaining supply, bad emotions like anger or sadness are just as good. Just as long as they know whatever it is that other person is feeling was caused because of them. If the emotion is from something outside of them, they get upset, and they will do whatever they can to make it about them again. Have you ever had someone inexplicably freak out at you after a funeral for something minuscule? They might be a narcissist. Have you ever had someone get angry at you for feeling happy about something in your personal life? They might be a narcissist. Anyway, I'm sure I'll talk about supply more in a later video. This is just some basic information. Anyway, after an absolutely insane dinner conversation...
What?
School!
Everybody, please, just calm down. Calm down. All this anger and emotion is pointless. The leaves said that the separation will not happen.
Abe tells Midge that he seems to know her mind better than she does.
Then what?
I don't want him here if he doesn't want to be here.
Of course you do. You want him here no matter what he thinks or feels or wants.
No.
Again, this is an example of both the controlling behaviors of narcissists and how they project themselves onto everyone. This is just something people with NPD do. I mean, they already think they know everything, and that definitely includes the motivations of the people around them. Something that is just insane for anyone to think they know. That's all I wanted to talk about in this episode. But I have a secret bonus episode, so let's just stack episode 3 onto this one, since there's not a whole lot there to cover in it. Actually, just this first scene, which is a flashback of Joel and Midge before they were dating. A narcissistic relationship goes through 3 or 4 stages depending on how you look at it. The first is the idealization phase, which is where they put you on a pedestal and see you as a person who's just as perfect as they want themselves to be. The next stage is the devaluation stage. This is after they've gotten their clutches in you, and you do something, which could be literally anything, to cause them to see you as anything less than perfect. This is when they start picking apart everything you do until you feel like you're worthless, and that's exactly how they see you as well by that point. The last stage is the discard phase, where they're done with you and leave you pissing in the wind, essentially. And then there's hoovering, where they change their minds and decide they aren't done with you yet, and try to get you back. Probably by doing the exact same shit they did to get you the first time at the beginning of your relationship. And then round it goes until you stop it, because the narcissist will never completely let anyone go. In the show, this is obviously a scene from Joel's idealization phase of Midge. And how do narcissists con you into falling in love with them during this stage? Why, they do something called mirroring. Narcissistic mirroring is when they start copying you. And it's the reason narcissists have so many masks. They have a mask for every person, essentially. This is because narcissists steal things, and that includes your personality and the personality of anyone nearby. This is because there is no true narcissist. It's all just a series of masks. But narcissistic mirroring is not just just a one-for-one comparison. They're copying the person that you want yourself to be. This is so they can appear to you to be a better version of yourself, one who is literally larger than life because they only copy your best qualities and ignore any of your negative traits. And Midge, much like any other victim of narcissistic abuse, is none the wiser at this point that she's really only falling in love with herself, or an idealized version of herself. Much like when Joel says something mildly funny, and then she laughs, he says,
"I made you laugh. I like when you laugh."
Almost like he knows what her dream is before she even does. That's another thing. Narcissists don't just want to steal your personality. They have to do anything you're good at better than you do. Or at least appear that way. Midge is funny, so Joel ends up trying to do comedy. This isn't really his dream. It's one he stole from his wife. And remember that narcissistic mirroring is them copying you to the extreme. They like everything you like. They want everything you want. They want to appear to be what is essentially your fairy tale soulmate you always felt was out there if you only searched long and hard enough. For advice on avoiding this in the future, remember the old phrase, if something is too good to be true, it is. Also, do your best to live in reality, because narcissists are always on the prowl for people who don't. A few more red flags in this scene.
Are you here with a date, Joel?
Not yet. You want another drink?
Well, he's hitting on her in front of her boyfriend, showing how little he cares about her personal life. Remember, narcissists only see other people as objects or toys for them to play with, essentially. They will never see you as a real person. Next, when she asks for the drink, he says,
Same thing?
Amaretto sour.
Yikes. We'll work on that.
Joel is already being controlling of her, like she's his doll to dress up and walk around. And then, finally, this happens.
You like this song?
I do like this song.
Good. Because it's ours now.
This is a huge red flag. One thing people with NPD want to do as quickly as possible is generate intimacy. They want to get you in a relationship as fast as they can because then they own you. Or at least that's how they see it. And ironically enough, the song that Joel makes their song is called You Belong to Me, which is exactly how a person with NPD sees their main supply, as an object that belongs to them and they can treat however they please. Joel's final line before leaving is,
You're destined for better things than this.
Another way for him to appear like he's the obvious better choice between him and the taller, blonder guy. Oh, he also puts that guy down multiple times throughout the scene for being stupid.
Bar's 10 feet away. Surprised he didn't get lost.
Which is a very common thing for narcissists to do. I mean, they'll put down others for any reason they can to make themselves look better, but stupidity is one of their favorite things to point out in others. You see, people with NPD believe themselves to be smarter than absolutely everyone. And ironically, most of them are pretty stupid themselves. That's because they make believe they know everything and therefore don't need to learn anything else. And that's just dumb. Life is a learning experience because there's always more to learn. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about episode 3. Cue the end screen, I guess.